Now, the French Prime Minister Sebastian Lecornu, yeah, you heard him right. French Prime Minister Sebastian Lecornu has unveiled his new government 2 days after being reappointed to his role by the President Emmanuel Macron. This is after days of political turmoil. Macron ally Roland Lescure was named again as the finance minister, while the conservative Les Républicains party voted not to join the new government, with the leader, Bruno Retailleau, replacing as interim minister by Paris police chief Laurent Nunez. Charlotte is joining us with more from what's going on in French politics. I have to start with developments on Friday before we look at what might happen today. Once again, the reappointment of Lecornu. What is the president trying to achieve here?
Look, we'll have to wait and see, but certainly the question is, will the Lecornu II government survive longer than the Lecornu I government that lasted, again, only 26 days? And, you know, it's looking incredibly difficult for that government. But look, when he was named late on Friday evening, Lecornu wrote on X that he accepted out of duty. So he made it very clear that maybe that wasn't his choice, maybe it was. But he did say that he wanted to do everything possible to provide France with a budget by the end of the year. And it seems that all minds are on this, and they're on the very tight deadline for this. He named very late last night his new government. As you were saying, some names are staying in place, particularly the economy and finance minister were already the one named in the first government of Lecornu, Roland Lescure, and the budget minister is also staying in place. So, you know, making their priorities very clear. Some conservatives, some members from Les Républicains are staying in the government, but they have been ousted straight away by their party because, again, because of the issues that we saw in the first Lecornu government with Bruno Retailleau, who then kind of was instrumental in toppling this government. So we see Les Républicains are tearing themselves apart whether to support the government or not, like they've done in the past. So that is one of the key questions. Other allies are waiting to see what happens with the pension reform. Here again, it's back on the table. We know for the socialists, it's a condition to not topple the government, to have at least a suspension of the pension reform. So we see here some contradictory conditions potentially from the different allies between the centre-right and the centre-left, whether to topple the government or not. And that explains how it's going to be so difficult for the Lecornu government to potentially get a budget together. So what we know now is that there will be a cabinet meeting tomorrow. There will be a general policy speech by Lecornu tomorrow afternoon to the National Assembly, and that's when we have the roadmap for his government on the pension reform and other aspects, and how he's looking at tackling the deficit to try to bring it between 4.7% and 5% next year, from 5.4 this year. And again, he said, Lecornu, that he took the job because he felt that there were not many other candidates to take this tough job.
Pas le sentiment qu'il y avait beaucoup de candidats.
I didn't feel there were a lot of candidates, being completely transparent. So I'll tell you, as I told the French people on television this week, I don't have an agenda. I have no other ambition than to get through this moment, which is objectively very difficult for everyone. So I have a clear mission, and either the political forces help me and we work together to achieve it, or they don't. It's about ensuring that by December 31st there is a budget for social security, a budget for the state, and that we've addressed some urgent issues.
Well, we heard from the far right and the far left that they want to put a no-confidence vote forward against its government straight away. They don't want to hear the debate on the budget or anything like that. So, you know, between them, they have about a third of the seats in parliament. So it doesn't take a lot of extra MPs potentially to make a majority to topple this government. So that is the key there. That's why they have to keep on board the Lecornu II government, the socialists, the centre-right. And here again, they have demands that are completely contradictory, particularly when it comes to the pension reform. So that will be the big challenge in the next few days, and whether that government can survive longer than the Lecornu one, big question. Yeah.